The downfall of civilization is inevitable, for nothing is new under the sun. The renewed science of the mind, psychology, is one field of study that has unleashed and destroyed every civilization that has had the balls to tamper with it. I will only use the basics to show you just how dangerous this study is and the effect it has had on individuals, thus affecting civilization as a whole. The first overall conditioning is called classical conditioning, discovered by a scientist named Ivan Pavlov in 1890. He trained a dog to eat every time the dog heard a bell ringing. The end result was every time the bell rung, the dog expected to eat food whether it was hungry or not. An easier example is a couple of ranchers had a problem with wolves eating their sheep. They put poison that would not kill an animal, but would make it violently sick on a couple of sheep carcasses and sat back and observed. When the wolves ate the infected sheep, by design, they got very sick and immediately were classically conditioned that sheep equals sickness. To further their experiment, they put a couple of the conditioned wolves in a pen full of sheep, and guess what? The wolves were terrified of the sheep and ran away from them, just like black people do when you give them a book or someone yells, polygraph test. The second and most prominent form of conditioning is operant conditioning. And let me tell you this, we are all subject to its effects. According to Wikipedia under operant conditioning, quote, operant conditioning is a type of learning in which an individual's behavior is modified by its antecedents and consequences. The expression operant behavior and respondent behavior were popularized by B.F. Skinner, who worked on reproduction of Kornatsky's experiments. Operant conditioning is distinguished from classical conditioning in that operant conditioning deals with reinforcement and punishment to change behavior. Operant behavior operates on the environment and is maintained by conditioning of reflex behavior, which are also elicited by antecedent conditioning, while classical conditioning is maintained by its antecedents and consequences. They both, however, form the core of behavior analysis and have grown into professional practices. Under tools and procedures, quote, reinforcement and punishment are the core tools of operant conditioning. It is important to realize that some terminology in operant conditioning is used in a way that is different to everyday use. Like this one, for instance. 1. Positive means a stimulus that is derived following a response. 2. Negative means a stimulus that is withdrawn following a response. 3. Reinforcement is a consequence that causes a behavior to occur with greater frequency. 4. Punishment is a consequence that causes the behavior to occur with less frequency. And 5. Antecedent stimuli occurs before a behavior happens. All humans operate under a combination of conditioning parameters. You do not run a traffic light due to negative reinforcement that you can either get into an accident or get a ticket. Likewise, you compromise your position knowing if you don't, you will have to deal with a pissed off black woman. Someone telling you thank you as you hold the door open will have a positive reinforcement and will make it more likely that you will hold the door again one day. Likewise, she has sex with you, and as soon as you ejaculate, that mysterious bill comes up. You give her the money because you know she will be your whore the next month. Understanding these simple interchangeable theories will be the difference between happiness and pain, joy and sorrow, enslavement and freedom.